Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Pirate Parents Live. Today we are talking about Spring 2023 Commencement, a very exciting topic that we like to cover every year. My name is Carter Fenwick. I'm the Associate Director of Parent and Family Programs, and with me today I have the Chris's. I have Chris Sutton, Captain Chris Sutton, who is the captain of the ECU Police Department, and I have Chris Stansbury, who is a Commencement co-chair, and they are joining me today to talk everything Commencement. If you are watching live, please put any questions that you have into the chat. We have some colleagues who are moderating that and can get you answers. If you're watching the recorded version, you can also put your questions into the chat. My office will get that notification and we'll get you answers as well. To kick us off, in case people don't already know, can you tell us when and where the commencement ceremony will be held?
Absolutely. We do hope you know.
Yes.
It's coming up very, very soon. Friday, May 5th. We'll be right here behind us at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium at 10 a.m. That'll be the university commencement ceremony, and then in the afternoons, Friday afternoon into Saturday, will be the college and departmental ceremonies.
And since our location is Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, can you briefly talk about weather?
Sure. I can start on it. Captain Sutton can kind of jump in from a safety component, but it is outdoor, so it'll be rain or shine. If we have the unlikely event of severe weather of any sort, lightning and so forth, we might delay a little bit. But if we get to a point where we just are not able to carry forward, we'll just end up canceling that. And the chancellor will confer the degrees for all the graduates in a separate kind of component, but that will not impact the college and departmental ceremonies as they're all indoor venues, so we'll be able to continue on with those.
Anything you would like to add?
No, that was a really good job. The key is that we were able to do it safely and hope for some really good weather.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. And typically what I like to do to cover the rest of the information that we're going to talk about is for us to kind of walk through as if we were a graduate or a family on commencement day. So we'll start with from the beginning. You know, it's May 5th, morning of, we are packing up and getting ready to leave our apartment or our home or our hotel. Can you talk about what guests need to remember to bring and what graduates need to remember to bring?
I would say first and foremost, plan ahead. If you've driven through Greenville at any point in time and you go, hey, from the hotel to the stadium, it's a 5-minute drive. It's not a beat. On commencement day, it will not be a 5-minute drive. And we don't want you showing up just before the ceremony. So the gates are going to be open pretty early as far as getting into the parking lots. I think it's around 8 o'clock. That's 2 hours before. I would definitely plan on getting here before 9 o'clock. That's going to give you time to get through traffic in Greenville. It's also going to give you time to get to a parking space and then get to the stadium. And so that's one thing for sure I think you want to do is build in time as you go into that. And I know for you and your team, that's very important.
Absolutely. If you're traveling through Greenville, you probably need to allow yourself 20 to 30 minutes just driving from A to B to get here. And once you get on site, you easily need to give yourself 15 to 30 minutes to go from your parking space to actually the seat that you're going to sit in during the ceremony. So easily an hour. If you're traveling from out of town, then you need to add on whatever travel distance and time that you would normally do to get here into Greenville. Traffic will be congested, but we have spent a lot of time and effort and energy trying to make sure that we have a traffic pattern that will be able to get all of our graduates and guests into the stadium and here and ready to go. But we need your help and cooperation also to do that. And while you're packing everything else, pack your patience.
Absolutely.
Pack your patience. So for our guests entering, since it is outdoors, are people allowed to bring water bottles or umbrellas or anything like that that can help them with the outdoor weather that they're going to be experiencing?
Yeah, I think unlike a football game where you're expecting elbow to elbow 50,000, we've got plenty of room, right? I think we're going to have room for people to be able to spread out. If you want to bring a water bottle with you, that's fine. We will have concession stands that are going to be open, available. They're going to be selling soda and water that'll also go along with that. We never know. We were talking about the weather in May in eastern North Carolina. It could be 50 degrees and rainy. It could be 90 degrees and sunny. So check the weather forecast, not just a couple days in advance. Check it all the way up to that morning of. And, you know, if you're not sure, bring a raincoat with you. Bring sunglasses with you. You may need both.
Yes. And again, since we're talking about rain, are people allowed to bring umbrellas?
Yeah, we're okay with bringing umbrellas. We just say also be kind of aware of your surroundings, right? So if you're sitting right there in front of somebody, maybe not put that umbrella way up so that where they can't see. But yeah, raincoats and umbrellas are make sense.
Awesome. And for our graduates who are on the field, is that the same as well?
So we don't want umbrellas on the field. For obvious reasons, the field is pretty flat, right? So if you're sitting in a chair and somebody has an umbrella, people behind you won't be able to see. What we typically have done is if we think there's the threat of rain, is we will have kind of ponchos that we'll pass out to the graduates in advance, and they can put those on before they go out to the field. Hopefully we won't need any of that.
Fingers crossed. I know when I was graduating, there was a chance of rain, so I bought a plastic shower cap that I put over my painted graduation cap. So again, if you want to prepare for weather, grab one of those as well. Okay, so we have everything that we need. We have our go bag ready. We are making our way to Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Can you talk about parking, where people should park and how?
So as you come up to the football stadium, the athletic complex here at ECU, there'll be officers that will be out at traffic intersections that will be helping control the traffic, and they will be bringing you in at whatever is the shortest route to get you into a parking space and then get you into the football stadium. Be aware of what the officers are instructing you to do. If you have questions, then certainly you can ask. You can check with us ahead of time by sending in your questions. We'll be able to get those answered for you. There'll be ADA spaces that will be available across the athletic complex to be able to accommodate as many as we possibly can. And again, allow yourself plenty of time to be able to get to the lot and then to get from your parking space inside the stadium.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that too. Make sure if you have a placard on a license plate that's easily visible, great. If you have something that's a hang tag, make sure that it's up and visible again, so that helps the officers and the staff that are getting you through. Also keep in mind, even though that ADA space is still relatively close to the stadium, there is still going to be some walking. We have some golf carts that'll be in that area that help people get to the gates, but even from then the gates to your seats, there is some walking that is involved. So just want to keep that in mind too.
If somebody does have those special considerations where they're concerned about getting someone in with some mobility, allow yourself some extra time to get here. Leave a little bit early. Even if you sit in the car in the parking lot for a few minutes before you come into the stadium, that will certainly beat having to try to maneuver and navigate getting in from a space that may be further than what you want.
Absolutely, that's a great point.
Yes, thank you. So next, we've made it to our parking spots and we are making our way to the stadium. Where do graduates need to go? Where do guests go? And then at what point, we've talked about arriving early, but what is that time that you suggest graduates arrive to the stadium?
Yeah. So first things first, and Carter kind of touched on this a minute ago, as far as like once you leave the car, what to bring, not to bring. That's probably the time where you want to take purses and small bags, put them in the trunk. Right, somewhere where people can't see that you've left your purse in the car type situation. We don't want people really carrying those kind of things onto the field because there's nowhere for you to store. Once you arrive and get staged to set up to process in, you're not going to be able to leave bags. And so we want to make sure anything that you can do secure in your vehicle, make sure it's safe and put in there. Because anything they do bring, they're going to have to carry with them out onto the field. But once they get here, and they're going to get something on May 1st from the Commencement ECU, the ECU account. The commencement.ecu.edu account will send to all graduates a map of where they will go, and that'll be based on degree. We'll also put that on the website, and that'll give you an opportunity. So I'm in the College of Business, you're going to report to a certain gate. Same with all of the colleges, and that'll be broken up that way. So it'll be in their email on Monday. It'll also be something that's put on the website towards the end of the week.
And volunteers will be here throughout the stadium to answer your questions and help direct people where they need to go.
And as far as time, you talked about when the graduates should come in. I would make sure that you are at your, post in one of those gates no later than 9:30. And the reason I say that is because about 9:40, they're going to start lining everybody up, getting them set to go. And when we get the go-ahead at 10 o'clock to go, the train's going to go. And we don't want anybody to miss out on that because that's a big part of that is going in. This is the only time where every graduate of spring 2023 and summer are going to be together.
So for guests, you talked about graduates will be told what gate they need to go to. Does it matter what gate guests arrive at?
Yeah. Pretty much any other gate will be the ones that the guests and parents are going to be able to go to. There's pretty much 4 gates that we're going to have, and as you're looking at a football field, the 4 corners are kind of how the graduates are going to come onto the field. That'll be the gates where you come in. And so pretty much any of the other gates other than that will be there for parents and family.
Awesome, thank you. So we have arrived. We've gone into our gate, and as guests we are sitting, and as graduates we are in that processional line. Can you talk about what to expect during this program? Do graduates walk on the field, walk onto the stage, or are names read? Talk about what to expect.
Sure. My first little tip, by the way, before you get in line, stop by the restroom. So that way you don't have to do that during the ceremony. You don't have to mess with that. Maybe grab a bottle of water from the concession stand would be good too. But once you get in the ceremony, everybody will process in, right? You'll hear the pomp and circumstances, and it'll play, and everybody will come onto the field. At that point in time, then Chancellor Rogers and the leadership and administration will come onto the field, and they'll go onto the stage. Once all the graduates are sit, there'll be a ceremony that includes an address from Chancellor Rogers. It's the only time where he attends the ceremony and confers the degrees. You'll hear from guest speakers like the faculty chair, the SGA president, our board of governors and board of trustees have a representative that speaks, and then we have a keynote address. And then, of course, at the end, we've got to turn tassels, and we've got to sing the alma mater. And so, again, those are the only times that occurs in the ceremony. It'll only be about 75 minutes, so an hour and 15 minutes in and out the door, and we get everybody moving. But it's a pretty cool situation.
Especially being here in the stadium. It is such a special time. So we've gone basically through the entire day. Hooray. So as we wrap up this Pirate Parents Live, are there any final reminders you all would like to share?
Good, yeah.
So we celebrate this amazing accomplishment with you. And as you celebrate yourself, celebrate responsibly. We don't want anything to happen when you look back on this date for it to be anything but a happy memory. So remember that when you and your family are celebrating, do so responsibly so that when you look back, it's nothing but a happy memory.
I would say think about coordination with your family, graduates, and families with your graduate back and forth that morning. Are you going to text? Are you going to meet in a certain spot, either beforehand or after? Hey, we're going to meet at gate 4 because we're going to go to lunch after this. Make sure you get some of that because there'll be thousands of people out and about, and so you want to make sure you coordinate that. If you have the ability to carpool and you can get a couple of families or groups into one, that's a great idea because it's going to save you time and space there. But make sure you're coordinating some of that because we see a lot of times graduates and families can't find each other beforehand. And so I think that's one thing. We are streaming, so we'll have a live stream of the university ceremony. The link will go on the commencement website that morning. So the morning of the 5th, you'll be able to click on there. So you have family across the country or somebody who's not able to make it, they can click on that link, they can watch the ceremony, and it'll be streamed live. We are not doing that for the college and departmental ceremonies. We've got 25 of them. We just don't have the capabilities to be able to do that for all those ceremonies. But we want as many people as possible to be able to enjoy it.
Most definitely. And I'll reiterate again, plan ahead, make a game plan, and pack your patience. This is a wonderful, wonderful time of the year. It's our favorite time of the year. It's just such a special moment for every graduate and the faculty and staff who have seen those students throughout their time here at ECU. So we're very excited. And so just come excited, pack your patience, and make a game plan. It should be a wonderful day for everyone. But thank you to Captain Chris Sutton and Chris Stansbury for joining me today, and thank you for tuning in. Again, if you have any questions, you can put them into the chat, or you can send an email to commencement@ecu.edu, and then the commencement website, commencement.ecu.edu, has all of this information and more, and some of those links that we talk about for accommodations or just other frequently asked questions. It's all there. So hope you are ready and prepared and excited, and we cannot wait to see your student graduate.